Hi, it's the Lipstick Gal. Today I'm going to go through and finish decluttering the rest of my base products. So powders, concealers, as well as primers. Let's hope that I get to all of it, but I've got quite a lot. I'm going to try and be brutal and go quickly. These I think are going to need less swatching than everything else, and it's going to be based basically on instinct. What am I keeping? What am I getting rid of? And what's worth it? So here is my enormous bin of powder. Oh, there's a lot. And what's funny is the older I get, the less I like powder and the pickier I become. So this should be pretty easy for me. Take a minute as I'm doing this and let me know in the comment section down below which are the powders that you trust wholeheartedly under the eyes to set and keep your foundation perfect all day. For touch-up, if you need a little perfecting throughout the day, what are your go-tos? And I'll let you know mine as we go through here. The first one that I know I can't let go of is this. This is the Glossier Wowder. This is one of my absolute favorite products. It's a loose powder. This is undetectable underneath my eyes and on my skin, and it makes me look like I have no makeup on. Love that. This is staying. Another one that is going to stay for now because it's new is this one from Rare Beauty. This is another one of those that has kind of like a little sifter in it. Everything's loose. I thought this had the bouncy mesh net. It doesn't. The nice thing about this though, and I don't really seem to do it, is you can close the sifter to make sure you don't have too much product. Maybe I'll close it for now as we're going through. But this one's staying just because she's new. Oh. Like if you're looking for an affordable, beautiful, kind of slightly radiant powder at the drugstore, this one from e.l.f. is fantastic. I also love that it has a sifter cover. Like, come on. This is what, less than $10 at the drugstore? I don't know what the price is. I haven't purchased this in a while, but this to me is almost exactly the same as the one that I have from, where is it? Hello? It's almost exactly the same as the one from Hourglass. The Hourglass Veil Setting Powder, beautiful, but she's expensive. If you want a really good alternative, this one from e.l.f. is fantastic. So I'm gonna keep the e.l.f. one. This is where I tell you, I don't think I have anything left in here, do I? Like, there's so little that I can't even get it out anymore. Okay, we're gonna let this one from Hourglass go. I did try to take out this metal portion here, and I can't seem to separate it. Otherwise, I would get everything else out. But I'm getting frustrated trying to get the last of what there is in here, and there's very, very little. I mean, I'm chasing around the most minuscule amount of powder. So we're gonna call this one good. This is a nice powder. I mean, if I had another one, I wouldn't be mad. But I'm not going to run and spend $50 on this when the one from e.l.f. is just as lovely. Oh, this is a favorite for sure, for sure. I've been using this so much. This is the One Powder Wonder from Beauty Pie in the shade Exquisite Light. So this is a radiant powder. I don't get a lot of coverage from this, but you can use it as a targeted, really subtle highlight. But I like using it on a giant fluffy bronzing size brush and just kind of lightly setting the face with it. So I've been using this as a setting powder. This is beautiful, so much so that I know I have a backup in here. I just got this. Oops, here we go. This one's great. I got this for $8 on the website, and I know prices are just going up. I'm like, get it now while it's still cheap. And I'm going to keep using this. This is great. This was something I purchased on a whim this fall, and I really like. I've had these for forever. These got kind of saved from the carnage the last time I did a declutter in 2021. And guess what? Have I used them since then? No. These are loose powders from Besame. I don't think they make this formula anymore, but I kept them because, you know, a lavender powder, and this one is a pink powder, are good for color correcting. But the truth is, I just really haven't been doing that. And I don't want to hang on to stuff that is just holding up space. So that is going to be a firm no for me. All right, here's one that I think is nice, but is a little too detectable. I'm always looking for something that you can hardly tell is there. This one is like, here I am, and that's not what I'm looking for. Now, if you have really oily skin, this might be perfect for you. Ooh, I should close the sifter. Look at that, there it is, powder everywhere. This is one of those that you put it on, it doesn't go anywhere. But on my combo skin, the only time I can really use this is in the summertime. So I'm going to see if one of my girlfriends or a cousin or something wants this, because this is a great powder. It doesn't work under my eyes. It makes the rest of my skin look a little heavy, and that's not what I'm looking for in a loose powder. So although it is a good powder and like you put it on and you're bulletproof for the day, this is not for me at 48. This is from Make Beauty. This is the Diffusion Set Pressed Powder. This is the lightest shade. You know, this is one that's interesting. I like the way it looks on the skin. I like the way that it feels, even just feeling it here. It feels slightly creamy, which is interesting for a powder. I love that she's refillable, but I'll tell you, this does not set anything in the way I want it to be set for under eyes. This is great all over the face, but I cannot get this product to set the concealer from Make to make sure it doesn't go anywhere. I'm gonna hang on to this. This is still fairly new in my collection. I like the color is good. I like the way it makes the rest of my skin look, but this is no for the under eyes. And I want powders that I can use everywhere, that I don't have to, this is my under eye powder, this is my everywhere else powder, but this one's good. I'm gonna hang on to it for now. Okay, this one's brand new. It's not really even a powder, but Danessa calls it one. This is the Yummy Skin Blurring Balm Powder. I've used it once. I'm wearing it today. We're keeping her. We're gonna see what we do here with this. Okay, this one's really sad. It's not actually the Fenty powder, because my Pat McGrath under eye setting powder like fell to its doom, shattered into a million little pieces. And I was like, do I want to repress it? No, I'll just use it loose. So I crumbled it all up and I put it in here. This is one of my favorite powders for under the eyes. I can use it all over the face, but at $32, it's kind of expensive to use everywhere. So I kind of keep this one just as like under eye only. But this is what I could salvage from the other one that died recently, but I'm hanging on to this. All right, here's another one from Beauty Pie that's fairly new to my collection. This is the Super Translucent Loose Setting Powder. This has that, I never like these little bouncy mesh nets. I don't know, some people love them. I don't. It does have a nice tamper on it so you don't get stuff everywhere. I think the packaging is nice. It looks really good. This one actually works underneath my eyes. I've used it a couple of times and it looks good under the eyes. It sets the face really well. I feel like this is a really great affordable powder if that's what you're looking for. Oh, Charlotte. See, part of me wants to keep it just so that I have a powder if I do a full face of Charlotte Tilbury. But the truth is, she's not my favorite. And this is the magic powder. It's supposed to be under eye and face. It literally says under eye and face. And this looks like a disaster under my eyes. This makes me look dry and old. And that was when I first got it several years ago. I don't know. Again, another one that has a sifter cover that I apparently never use. Let's cover it up now so we don't have more product coming out than we need. As I sit here thinking about this, I don't love this powder, but it was so expensive. I'm gonna let somebody else love it for me. I'm gonna call my cousin. I'm gonna ask my daughter if she wants it. Okay, this is one that I keep forgetting. This should not live here in powders. This should live with highlights. This is the Absolute powder from Lancome. This is the shade Absolute Pesh. This is the most gorgeous radiant powder. Now you could use this as a finishing powder, but it would be a lot, because when you put it on, I got too much. You see how glowy it is? Oh, it's so pretty. But this is one of those non-glittery but glowy highlights that's great for mature skin. If you use it as a powder everywhere, I think it would emphasize every pore, every line. So I used to be able to lightly diffuse it everywhere the way I do with the one from Beauty Pie. I can't do that anymore, and all of the gold is just like flaking off. But this powder is absolutely stunning as a highlight if you have more mature skin but you don't want that really crazy intense. I'm gonna hang on to this, but I'm probably gonna move this to my highlight drawer because that's where it's really gonna get the most use. This is a powder from Besame that I actually really like. This is the powder from the Marilyn Monroe collection, and this is I love this compact. I mean, look how stunning and pretty. It has Swarovski crystals. It's got this beautiful black lacquer on the top. It has a really nice smear, and of course, it is refillable. I'm not going to pull it out because I'm going to gouge it. But this product from Besame is, to me, the sort of product that is the one thing that I want to carry in my purse if I want to check my lipstick, if I want to powder my nose. This is what I want to reach for. I think the powder is nice. I wish the powder wasn't quite so heavy, but it does feel very vintage and feel very much like the sort of powder that my grandmother would have used. but I wish it was slightly lighter while still being part of the beautiful Besame aesthetic. Their limited edition compacts are worth the dollars. Heavy, if I were to throw this at somebody or the wall, it would make a hole. Like it would injure you, but this is beautiful. She's not going anywhere. Everybody loves this Laura Mercier powder. Why do I not love it? It's not bad. I have the shade translucent. I don't know. Have I tried it enough? I really haven't tried. I tried it a couple of times. I was like, eh. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hang on to this, but I'm gonna put it in like rotation for a whole month and use it as my loose setting powder for a month and see. Because right now I feel like the one from Beauty Pie I like more. I like the one from e.l.f. more. I feel like they're like the Glossier loose setting powder. Oh, hello. I don't know that me and this one from Laura Mercier are like meant to be, but I'll keep it and really give it a fair shake. Here's a powder that I really like. Oh my goodness. This cloud set from Kosas is so pretty. Like mine used to be domed and now it's like flat. I haven't used it in a while, but this looks like nearly nothing on. Like the minute you blend it in, it has a slight glow. And I'm not saying that it's radiant or shiny. It just looks like skin. It doesn't look powdery, which is I think the great part of this powder. It looks so skin-like. And that's what I like about it. I'm gonna hang on to this. I did wish it had like a mirror. That would be nice, but you know, it's kind of cute packaging. I wish she wasn't so chunky. Okay, I'm gonna move all the rest of this towards the middle here. Ooh. Here's another one I can't live without. Boy, I'm keeping a lot of powder. This one here from Beauty Pie is their Baked One Powder Wonder. This is the one in Uber Lucent Universal. Okay, this is the first powder that I fell in love with from Beauty Pie. This is undetectable. This is my favorite under eye setting powder. Like I could probably use this one and not buy the one from Pat McGrath for the rest of my life and be happy. Now, I do like the Pat one enough to have purchased it twice, but you know, if Pat quit making it, I would use this and be just fine. It is a slightly radiant white powder. It is baked. I mean, it looks like nearly nothing on the skin. You can see there is a slight radiance to it, but on the skin, it just looks skin-like. This is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And if you can get your hands on it, if you're a Beauty Pie member, totally worth the dollars. This powder from Say does nothing for me. I wanted to like it. Now, the one thing that it does do is that when you put it on, it's almost like you're not putting anything on. And I think that's the problem because although it does look really undetectable on the skin, does it set my under eye? No. Does it set my skin all day? No. Does it need to be touched up constantly? Yes. Do things move after using it? Yes. And I don't know, maybe it's meant to go with other Say products. I don't have a ton of them. This one, I think I purchased because they had a mature woman, someone over the age of 25, in the marketing photos, and it looked beautiful. It looked so skin-like, and it was talking about how it was going to be amazing. This is not a bad product, by no means, but I think this is for somebody who doesn't have the same amount of dynamic. If I didn't have dynamic facial lines on my face, this would be fine. And I would touch it up because I like that your natural oils come through. It looks kind of glowy. If you have oily skin, this is not going to set you enough. If you need your concealer not to crease underneath your eyes, this is not going to do it for you. So for that reason, it doesn't really function well for me. I'm going to let this go. Oh my goodness, the CoverGirl Advanced Radiance. This is such a good product. I don't know, I'm kind of mixed on this. I think the reason I am kind of thinking about not keeping it is it's so much darker than my skin tone. And I'm trying to be better about making sure that I have the colors that suit my skin. And drugstore foundations, drugstore powders, drugstore concealers are notorious for never having one that's light enough, or if it's light enough, it's almost white. Like there is no in between. It's either like chalk or it's nowhere near close enough. And this is one that if you use judiciously is beautiful. This one I feel looks just as lovely as the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder. I'm not saying that it's a dupe for that, but it looks just as good on the skin. It looks good when you're using it with this little puff. It looks good when you're using it with a brush. It looks good even if you just take your finger in it and like tap it into the corners of your nose if you have a little bit of oil coming up there. This is a beautiful formula, but I think this has to go because this is the lightest shade in 110. And it's still not light enough for me. And so when I put it on, all of a sudden, I start seeing like, oh, that's where I have powder and that's where I don't. And then I have to powder my full face and it's just not the right color. So, man, I like the formula. They just don't have a shade for me. And that's a shame. This is the Flower Beauty Light Illusion Perfecting Powder. This is a great alternative to the Charlotte Tilbury. Like, okay, here's Charlotte. Charlotte's what, 45, 48? How much is Charlotte charging these days for this? It used to be 40 and it was 45. And this is one that I like all over my face, but again, another product that is not light enough for me. This one here can work, but not under my eyes. I put this under my eyes. Oh my goodness, it's all over. This is one, and I think you can see if you're looking just at the pan, this one's a little pinker, this one's a little peacher, and I feel like this one's a little bit lighter. I almost wonder if maybe I shouldn't keep this because it also is not light enough. And yeah, this is the lightest shade in L1 Porcelain. It's not as porcelain as I would like. Now, it's not as dark as the one from CoverGirl. I feel like the CoverGirl, let's just take a quick peek. CoverGirl is darker. Yeah, you know what though? I like the way this works. I'm gonna put a pin in this. I'm gonna save this. I really like this powder. This powder is going in. I'm gonna wait on the flower because there's another powder here, and this might be the one that kind of flips it all for me. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, this is from number 7. Do you see how this one's a little bit darker? This one's a little bit lighter. This one is the Triple Action Finishing Powder in Light, the Lift and Illuminate. All right, this is the lightest one. I think I'm gonna let this one go and I'm gonna hang on to this one. I like having drugstore options, and this one is, they're both beautiful formula-wise, but I'm really trying to remind myself not to hang on to anything that doesn't suit my skin tone. But the nice thing about this, it does come with a mirror and it does have like a little sponge on the bottom. So this can easily go in your purse. She's a good powder, and for the price, if you have a shade that suits you, this is great. But I'm gonna choose not to hang on to stuff that doesn't work anymore color-wise. And we're gonna put the number 7 in the keep pile. This powder from LYS is their Triple Fix Setting Powder. This is the lightest shade. I think, what is it called? Translucent Resilient. All right, I don't know. I feel like this is just okay. I feel like there are other better pressed powders. And now for the price, we're talking like what, low 20s? This is one of the more affordable brands at Sephora. I think it's actually got some really nice things in the lineup. I like their cream blush. I like this. I'm trying their new lipstick and lip liner. I think those are nice. This is not a bad product, but is it better than everything else I have? No, I like some of the other pressed powders better. So maybe I can see if somebody in my family would love this for me. The Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder in Diffuse Light is one of my favorites. This is the one that's slightly yellow leaning. I fell in love with this, I don't know, 15 years ago. I was still pregnant with my daughter, my oldest, who's gonna be 15 in March. So I've been using this for a decade and a half. Well, not this one, but this product. And I have purchased it multiple times. This is my favorite shade. It normally comes domed and it has a nice little divot here in the middle. I'm gonna keep using this till it's gone. I love this powder. This works underneath my eyes. This works all over my face. This gives a subtle radiant glow. There is a reason that these are hyped products, and I get it. This works so well for me. And this is where I think that when I'm done with this and I hit the terracotta tile like I've done so many times, I probably won't instantly repurchase. I'll probably reach for the rest of my Hourglass palettes that have this, but in one of those smaller sizes. Make sure I use all of the diffuse light up before I go and buy another one. But this is a tried and true, trusted and much loved powder. This is amazing. Oh, Chantecaille, 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 I love you so much, but I don't understand your color choices. So this is the Flower Power Perfect Blur Finishing Powder. Okay, this has come out in many iterations. This is the light medium shade, and I feel like because they're trying to make it for light medium, that's why it's this color. Because if you look at it next to me, this is not a shade that I would pick for me. But this is the lightest shade there is. And if I was worried about the CoverGirl being too dark, more orange and a little bit deeper in tone. So I really feel like I've been hanging on to this doesn't work for me. It's way too dark, and I picked it up because Teresa from Teresa's Dead loves this powder. And she always describes herself as uncooked chicken. I'm like, hello, we are long lost sisters in the uncooked chicken department. And the truth is, she loves this and she makes it work. I cannot. I cannot. This looks orange on me. And I paid $84 for it. So packaging is super cute and adorable. I'm gonna have to let her go because honestly, I can't. I can't keep a powder just because it's pretty and it has great reviews. And when I do use it and I look orange, it does blur. It like the formula is fantastic. The shade is atrocious. I wish they had a fair, a light, a medium, a deep. I think that would be much better, but I know Chantecaille is a smaller brand and they're probably not gonna do that. But if they ever do, if they come out with a fair, I would be willing to try this again. This Dior powder, did I see that Samantha March was saying that it's no longer available for purchase? Are they reformulating this? Are they discontinuing this? This is the Backstage Powder No Powder. I've had this for a while. It's nice. Is it my favorite? No. And that makes me kind of go, do I need to keep it? I don't know. I'll tell you though, it's a lovely powder. This is not one that works underneath my eyes. And I think that's the problem, is that when I can't use something underneath my eyes, the older I get, the less and less I'm reaching for powder. But it looks beautiful on the rest of my skin when I need to set my face for like a work day. Maybe I'll keep this and think of it as work day makeup. Yeah, let's do that. Oh, Charlotte. This is Charlotte's new powder, the Airbrush Flawless Brightening Powder. Okay, there we go. So I love that Charlotte is finally doing refillable packaging. This is refillable. You can use a little pin to push it out here, but this is the shade that's fair and white. This is great for under the eyes. I love this under the eyes because the other one, remember, too dark for under my eyes and looks crazy. This one looks fantastic. But I wish there was a shade, you know, in between this and the light #1 shade, something just a little bit lighter and not quite white, because then I could use it everywhere. If I use this everywhere without a setting powder, sometimes I see the white on my face. It looks good under the eyes, but I have to be really careful and blend it. I don't know. This is a good powder. If I were to pick between this one and the one from Pat McGrath, I would choose this one because you're getting more price per ounce, like you're getting more product here. We're getting 9 grams. I know the one from Pat, I don't have the packaging anymore. You get a lot less. I'll let you know how much it is. But this is great for under eyes and you get more bang for your buck here because you're getting more product. But I don't know that this still is any better than the one from Beauty Pie. Why am I buying these more expensive? Because they're new. Because everybody's curious and you want to know, and I buy it and I try it and I tell you. It's good. I'm still probably going to, if push came to shove, use the One Powder Wonder and Uberlucent Universal, the white powder from Beauty Pie, over this. But she's good. Here's another product that got saved from my last declutter. And I'm trying to remind myself that I should get rid of this. But here's my problem. This is the one powder in my collection that I know when nothing can move, oh, nothing moves. This is like the most perfect, as long as I don't use too much, my face stays all day. I don't have any settling into my expression lines in my forehead. I don't have any oils popping up around my nose. I don't have anything breaking up in my nasal labial folds, but I can't overpowder because if I overpowder, sorry, you look 1,000 years old. So I have to very carefully walk the line with this. This is the lightest shade from the Huda line. I think this is, yeah, it's Pound Cake. Okay, I cannot put it under my eyes if I do that. Oh, I've committed a sin, and you can see every single bad thing I've done my entire life. But I really love it in on the forehead. I love it in the nasal labial folds, on the chin and around the nose. It looks great there. And I will use other powders that are more skin-like in other areas, and definitely something else underneath my eyes. But I think I might actually hang on to this. All right, I'm keeping 19. I should have been a lot better. But let me show you the ones I'm getting rid of. These are the ones I'm keeping. And here are the ones that I'm getting rid of. These 10 here, some I should never have kept from my last declutter. Some I should never have purchased, but this is what I'm letting go. These are all of my correctors and concealers. Maybe we should separate it by correctors. Let's see, this is a corrector, this is a corrector, this is a corrector. Give me a second, I'm gonna separate some of these things and we'll go from there. These are the 4 correctors that I use. This is my favorite one. This one isn't going anywhere. This is the Super Luminous Under Eye Genius. This is my second pot of it. It took me a whole year to go through one of these. I opened this up at the end of 2022 and love. Since I got this, I have not used this. This had been kind of like my perfect consistency under eye corrector. This is from Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Magic Vanish, the lightest shade, but the shade here is so orange. All right, do you see how orange this is? Like it's almost like fluorescent orange. This tends to be a little bit more pink, and when I blend it, I can actually blend it in under my eyes. It neutralizes the color and it doesn't stand out. This I can only wear if I put something over the top, like a concealer. This I can wear on days when I am not actually wearing anything else. So this is staying, this is going. I picked this up from Fenty when it came out last year. This is their color corrector in Rose Quartz. Again, a shade that is probably better suited to my skin tone, but this is so like lightweight, it almost does nothing. Like once I blend it out, let me blend it out over here. So if I were to use a moderate amount, it's right here, but I can still see everything through there. And at that point, it's not doing enough color correcting to get rid of my dark circles. I'm adding another layer of product that's doing nothing. So this, if you have really light dark circles, like do they even count as dark circles? You would like this product. This one is going. All right, this is a fairly new product for me. I'm still getting to know it. This is the Rare Beauty Under Eye Brightener. This is the shade Light. This one is the most skin tone like. The one from Fenty's a little pinky. The one from Beauty Pie is a little pinky. The one from Charlotte is straight up orange. And this one here is more my skin tone. The problem I have with this, it again, like the one from Fenty, is very lightweight. Now, on days when I'm wearing a tinted lip gloss, I'll put this on and I'm gone. And the only problem is, since I do have those kind of expression lines underneath my eyes, if this isn't set with the powder, I'm perpetually tapping it out. I'm gonna hang on to these 2 right now and put these in the discard. Here are all of my concealers. I don't think I wanna hang on to the one from Fenty. It doesn't give me enough coverage, just like the corrector. I'm gonna let this one go. Another one that I know I can let go is this one here. This is the e.l.f. Hydra Camo Concealer. Okay, this one, everybody loves it. I do not understand. Yes, it's affordable. Yes, there's a lot of shades, but this makes my under eyes look dry, like the desert. The hydrating aspect of this, really, in what world? I don't know. This one, not for me. Another one I'm gonna let go. I've had this for way too long. This is the Magic Away Concealer. Almost done with it. Like there's if you look at the window, the guy's like all the way up to here. I took off the cushion tip on it because it was just gross and disgusting. I'm gonna let this go. I'm gonna say that this one officially got finished, but this is not one that I'm running out to purchase again. Now, this is one that I did purchase again, but now I'm wondering why. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Retoucher. This is one, I mean, look how gross it gets. This is the one thing I wish that Charlotte's products didn't get. It's disgusting. Okay, this is real me telling real you. Unless you clean it every time you use it, it's just gonna look disgusting. And you're gonna question your life choices like I am right now showing this to you and trying so hard not to be horribly ashamed. All right, but the truth is, this works on those light makeup days when you just need a little bit under the eye or a little bit here and there around the face, tap it in and go. I feel like I have other products that do a better job than this. This is the second one of these I've repurchased. I always get the shade number 1 in light. I'm gonna say I'm done with this one, and goodbye, Miss Charlotte. This makes me sad because they don't make this anymore. The Bare Minerals Bare Skin Complete Coverage Serum Concealer. This is the shade Fair. I was gonna finish this up last year and I never got around to it. I've had it for too long, but this was my 3rd container of this. Again, another color that I feel like is maybe it's because it's oxidized. It's a little too orange, not the perfect shade. So I don't reach for it because the shade isn't right anymore, but the consistency was so good. That one's gonna have to go. Another one on the way out is the Cover FX Power Play. You know, I got the shade N Light 1. I had the shade N Light 0 and that was too light. Oh, whoa. Yeah, I don't know. This one never does me any favors under the eyes and is also not like a good shade. Like in person, it looks okay here under the light, but in person, it is a little too deep. I'm gonna say no to this. The fact that the N Light 1 was too deep and the N Light 0 was too white. Okay, no, not this. Talk about not being the right shade. This is Flower Beauty's Light Illusion Concealer. Do they make this in different shades now? Because when I bought this, they had this as the lightest shade and it was L12. And the fact that it was supposed to reach over 2 shade ranges, it is a good formula. I like the formula. I like the way it sits underneath my eyes. But honestly, and this is great all over the face too, if you want to just dab a little here or there and blend the rest of it in. This is great formula wise, but this shade range is abysmal. Abysmal. Come on, Drew, we can do better. But this is too dark, like way too dark. If I were to put a stripe of this here, do you see? Like not even close. So for that reason, we're gonna say bye-bye to the Flower Beauty. All right, here's where it gets a little harder. I feel like this one from Lancome, the Tanti Doll Ultra Wear, is really nice. I feel like this is one of those, I have to be careful because every time I pull it out, like, do you see how it got makeup right here? I have to be careful, especially if I'm wearing black. This one is not the perfect shade for under my eyes, but the formula sits so well under my eyes. I don't know. I think I'm gonna put this in the maybe pile for now. I have the shade 090. At the time when they launched this and I picked this up, this was the lightest shade, but okay, we're gonna think about that one for a minute. One that I know I'm gonna definitely keep. She's new. We're still getting to know her. This is the Rare Beauty concealer. I have the shade 110N. This is probably just a hair too light. If I go here, I mean it's a little pasty. I can make it work, and this is one that I really only use underneath my eyes. If I put it too many other places, it's just too much, and I look like Elizabeth I, like ghostly pale. But this one will work. I'm gonna hang on to this one for now and come back with some actual thoughts after having spent more time using it. I tried so hard to love this. This kind of reminds me of the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. I feel like this one's actually more like hydrating. And I used to love Shape Tape like a lot. And I'll tell you, I could just never get this to look good underneath my eyes. It's very heavy. I don't know. And I know that concealer, and like good thing is it's got coverage. It's supposed to blank things out. I just never loved this enough. I think that one's gonna go the way of the dodo. This is going nowhere. This is my beloved stretch concealer from Glossier. I have the shade G11, G12. This is perfect for those light makeup days, for summertime when I want a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit all over my face. And I don't really use it as like foundation, but I dab it over dark spots. I dab it over redness and I blend it out to the rest of my skin where I don't have anything. This is one of my favorite formulas and I love, love, love. So this isn't going anywhere, that's staying. Another favorite is the Huda Beauty Faux Filter. Oh my goodness. This is amazing. I have the shade Royal Icing. I think this is 1.1N. This is what I want every full coverage concealer to be. Like one dot like this, and it's like all my sins are forgiven, and yet looks like, wait, what? Is there anything there? It's traceless, it doesn't look heavy. This is a great concealer, and I find that I get really good results even on my 48-year-old under eyes, even though it is a little bit on the heavy-ish side. If you use it carefully and blend it well, it's so pretty. Here's another favorite, and you can't read what it says anymore because I've used it so much. A word off. This is the Estee Lauder Double Wear Radiant Concealer. This is the lightest shade in 0.05. Okay, so like the Huda Beauty, this is one of those that a small dab will do ya. The thing that's interesting about this formula, I find that it is more hydrating than the one from Huda, but they both sit really well under the eye. And this one isn't so hydrating that it kind of travels. This is between these two. If I need to look perfect all day, I reach for these guys. These are two of my favorite full coverage, like stay all day, look amazing, but not age me concealers for the under eyes. So I'm gonna hang on to this. This is the Make Beauty Skin Mimetic concealer. This is the lightest shade. This is one where this is beautiful on the face, beautiful. But do you see it's a little bit more yellow overall. I like the way this looks because it looks like skin. It looks like kind of hydrated, happy skin. But underneath the eye, I can't put this underneath my eye. When I put this underneath my eye ends up looking like crepey. It looks older because nothing can set this. I've tried it where I don't use under eye cream. I've tried it where I put powder down and then concealer and then more powder. I've tried it with a variety, loose, pressed, powder foundation. Like I've tried everything to get this to set and I cannot. So she's really pretty on the face. So I will use this for more minimal looks and I just need a little dab here and there of, you know, corrector, but not necessarily as like concealer under the eye. But I'll probably try and finish this up this year by just using it a little bit here, a little bit there on my lighter makeup days. This is my favorite concealer from the drugstore. And I wish they made this in a lighter shade because this again is a problem of too deep, it's too dark, sweetheart. And if I put it here, I mean, I think you would see how dark it is for my under eyes. No, and this is where man, I have made this work so many times because it's beautiful. Okay, the Radiant Concealer is so great because it is like those higher end Radiant concealers. It blanks out everything like when you start to blend it in. But this is too dark. I'm trying so hard to remind myself that I want things that are gonna match me. If I'm wanting a little brightness under the eye, this is not gonna do it. Look how dark this is. Well, that's sad. I think I'm gonna say goodbye to this, but I almost used the whole tube because like I'm down to here. This is such a beautiful product. If you have a shade that suits you in this age perfect and you have mature under eyes, this is definitely worth a try. I've hung on to this for years. And I'm, you know, nearly done with it. This is the lightest shade from NARS in Chantilly, but this is the matte concealer. And I keep this for concealing things on the face. Like if I need to get rid of a zit, I use this. But you know what? I found that there's something else that I like. Well, I'm trying to decide, do I want to keep this? I haven't used it. I think I can say I can let it go because I haven't used this in forever. But if you want to cover up a blemish, if you want to cover up a dark spot, if you want to cover up a little bit of redness around the nose, but you need something that is going to last a little bit longer than maybe a more radiant product, this is fantastic for spot concealing around the face. And this lightest shade in Chantilly is actually a beautiful shade match for me. The only problem is it's been a year and I haven't used it. All right, here's the Dior Backstage Concealer. I know some people don't like it, but I love that it has a little brush on the end. This is like my favorite thing about it. This is the shade, I think this is 0N. This is the lightest one they make. This one actually is a really good shade match for me, and especially a little brightening under the eye. I like that it is kind of dewy and radiant, and it doesn't really look like much. Is it the most coverage? No, but this is for like a lighter makeup day. I can dab this around other places on the face as well. I like this. I'm gonna hang on to this one. All right, everybody loves this and I get it. This is the Instant Age Rewind Eraser from Maybelline. I have the shade 100 Ivory. I feel like I can't keep this. The color is so orange. Okay, I see it in the monitor, it looks like it's not that bad, but in real life, it looks Oompa Loompa. Let me see if I can capture it with my phone and show you, because like, oh my goodness. All right, I'll put that picture for you up on the screen, but it's too orange. Like seriously, I wish the drugstore was better at making a varied range of shades. I know that people on both ends of the spectrum are forever complaining that there isn't something deep enough, there isn't something light enough. And I feel like this is what really keeps me from loving drugstore based products. I can never find my shade. It never looks, or I never feel my best. And I want to feel my best. That's why I put on the makeup. But this, I like the formula. I think it does a really good job of concealing and correcting. It's great if you have your shade. So Little Miss Instant Age Rewind is, yeah, we're gonna put her in the discard pile. All right, these last two I'm gonna hang on to. This is the Beauty Pie Everyday Great Skin Concealer. This is actually a really nice concealer. It's affordable. I think that this is a good shade for me. It's brightening, but it's not so far from my skin tone that when you blend it in, like, oh look, it's my shade. I like that. This, by the way, if you're curious, is the shade 50 Super Light. I think there is a shade 25 super light. This is the second lightest shade. But this is a great affordable, this sits really well underneath the eyes. It does a great job of covering up hyperpigmentation, redness, but it's not the most full coverage. I don't feel like it's terribly buildable, but it's one that for a day when I don't want a complete blank out all my sins full beat, this is one that I reach for. And the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Concealer, this one's new. Is this, yep, the shade Fair 1. This is the lightest shade they make. Another one that I feel like is pretty good skin tone match for me, which is surprising because usually the Charlotte concealers are a little bit darker than this. So I'm gonna hang on to this for now. I think this is nice. It's really great at bringing some brightness to my under eyes, but it also doesn't tend to settle in all of the crevices. I am getting rid of these 11 concealers. And there's a wide range of luxury all the way down to drugstore, but these guys just aren't working for me. And some of them are just definitely the wrong shade, and some of them are sadly discontinued. And I'm keeping these 9. Boy, I'm surprised I'm not keeping more. Oh, this was probably the one where I got rid of more than I kept. I thought I was going to do that with powders, and it turns out it was concealers. All right, so I'm happy with the state of my concealers for the moment. I'm happy with what I got rid of. And I'm happy that I'm only keeping, you know, 2 correctors. I feel like this is a good place to be. All right, let's take a look at those primers. There aren't a lot, it should be quick. Here are the primers. This is gonna be super easy. I already know what I like and what I use and what's new I wanna try, and everything else can go. All right, so this is limited edition packaging from I don't wanna tell you how long ago, but I'm nearly done. This is the Tarte Smoothless Primer. What is it? The Timeless Smoothing Primer. All right. Love this stuff. This is really good. This is great if you want to look like you have no pores at all. So that is staying. Here's another one that I'm going to keep that I use all summer long from Lancome. This is the Prep and Matte. This is amazing. It makes sure that all of those oils that crop up around my nose go nowhere. This is more like a lotion. Sits beautifully over the top of any sort of skincare you have going on. And I wear a lot of skincare, but especially SPF. It's very lightweight. It sinks in and then it's like, wait, where did it go? But it does a beautiful job at making sure no oils come through during the summer. Love this so much. So these are my 2 most used, but I don't prime that often. All right, but we're trying to change that. So these are 2 new ones that I recently purchased. The Good Vibes Only Soft Velvet Primer and the Power Grip Primer from e.l.f. This one's a little bit grippier for all day sort of wear, and this one is to help smooth and kind of make things look less textured. So trying these guys out. Then another one that I use all the time is this, the Milani Eyeshadow Primer. Love. I am going to keep this. With this being the rest of it, I know that I'm not keeping this as the priming moisturizer. I've never used it from Good Molecules. Everybody used to love this Smashbox. Like, whatevs, I'm not interested. And then they have another little, but these are all samples. So I am not, this is what the under eye primer, like I need one more step. If I don't even prime my eyeballs, I am not putting this underneath my eyes. That's a no. These guys here are so old, like they probably don't even have them in this packaging anymore. So I'm gonna get rid of both of these. I found these deep in the back of a drawer, so those can go just for pure age. This one here from Lorac, I find that it doesn't do any good. It just makes everything crease more. So no to this. Okay. This one I've had forever. This is from Pretty Vulgar. It came in a BoxyCharm. I haven't gotten a BoxyCharm in more than 2 years, so bye-bye. So here's what we're left with. This is one I actually purchased. This is one that I got because it was green, and it gives kind of like a glowy, glassy look to the skin, and I like that really shiny, glassy look. But this is a product I can only use on days when I am not going to work. On my work days, I need something that's gonna keep my face in place all day because I'm in a mask. So I may hang on to this for non-work days. But like if I were to get rid of it, it wouldn't be the end of the world. But I like that it has a little bit of green in there for that counteracting the redness around my nose, on my chin, other places. So I'm gonna hang on to this. All right, this I didn't purchase. This actually came as a bonus with an Ulta order. I don't know. No. So this is what we have left. This would be one of 2 eyeshadow primers if I kept it. one for regular and one for like the glitter and sparkle. And I think I'm gonna hang on to it for that because I do have days when I need a little bit of this to keep everything in place. And I'll tell you, I tried it before and I didn't like it. And then I got a new one, and maybe the other one was old. Maybe they changed the formula because I felt like it didn't really work that well. This actually works pretty well to keep larger, chunkier sparkles of eyeshadows on the eye without getting fallout, and that's really what I want. So I'll do my whole eye look, and right before I put on that chunkier kind of duochrome situation, I'll tap a little bit of this over the eye, wait for it to get tacky, lay it down there, and that keeps it from kind of ending out like glitter Tinkerbell underneath my eyeball. So I'm gonna hang on to this, but these will be the only two eyeshadow primers, one for every day, one for everything else, two new ones, and a glowy and a matte one. So we'll see. I don't know if all of these are gonna make the cut, but I'm trying to be better about priming because everybody says, oh, you really should try. I'm trying different things, but this is what I'm getting rid of. So 2, 4, 6, 8, and I'm keeping 6. All right, there we go. So here is everything that I'm keeping: concealers, correctors, primers, and powders. I feel like this is much more manageable, especially for someone with a large collection like myself who has a YouTube channel. I know these are the products that I love and I will actually use, and everything else that's just kind of cluttering things up can go. And here's all the clutter. It's a significantly smaller bin, but she's also full to the top. But I feel like if I had been a little bit more brutal with the powders, I think there would be more in here. But yeah, let me know what sort of products you rely on heavily when it comes to primers, concealers, correctors, powders. What sorts of things are your absolutely must-haves? And which ones do you feel like you've tried and been like, yeah, not so much, not so much. Because I see little Miss Chanticleer down here and I'm like, you're beautiful, but you're the wrong shade. And I feel like at 48, I deserve to wear makeup that makes me look like me, but better. And not me, but oranger. Hey, thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna keep doing this declutter series. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you again soon.